All right, good evening, guys. Welcome to Money Mondays, call number 19. Tonight is Monday, July the 6th, 2015. The time is now a couple minutes after 8 p.m., and if you guys can believe it or not, I told y'all this was coming. We are officially in the second half of the year, and tonight is the very, very first call of July. So I welcome you guys to another edition of Money Mondays. Again, this is call number 19, Monday, July the 6th, and tonight's topic is develop the possibilities in your life. Develop the possibilities in your life. I haven't decided yet if this is going to be a multi-part call, but I think this is a really, really cool topic. And even while preparing for this call, I learned so much and sort of got so many additional reminders for my own life and for some of the things that I'm personally working on, which is why I love preparing for the calls for you guys so much, because, again, each time I come up with a topic where I prepare for the call, I learn something new each time out. So I don't want you guys to ever think for a minute that I don't learn something every single time we go through one of these calls, because it's absolutely not true. I really, really enjoy these. So if you guys don't know me, once again, my name is Sadiq Ali, and I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm also the founder of Millionaire Manners Academy. I tell folks all the time, every single week, our regular listeners, you guys know this, I believe in every single person on this call, and I hope you are growing the belief in yourself as well and growing the trust in yourself as well, because that is the number one thing that's going to push you to uncharted territories in terms of success and achieving different things. Is you have to believe in your own ability. The more you believe in yourself, the more things you're going to do, the more things that you're going to try. So, again, these calls are about building belief, okay? So, again, last week we spoke about a pretty cool topic, right? 5 awesome ways to challenge yourself today, okay? Week before that we talked about killing fear, crushing, mangling, and burying fear, which was a pretty cool topic as well, right? But tonight, right? Tonight is also a pretty cool topic. Tonight we're going to be talking about possibilities, right? Which is cousin is opportunity, and we're going to talk about just a few of the differences, okay? Again, if this is your first time calling in or listening to a Money Mondays call, our ground rules are pretty simple. Number one, I want to hear from you guys, all right? I just don't want this to be me talking the entire time, but it is going to be me talking for a large portion of the time. But at the end, I want to hear from you guys. So at the end, when you guys have questions, comments, suggestions, concerns, etc., testimonials, any good stories from you guys being able to go out and use any of the information that we talked about in the previous week's call, we do that at the end of the call. So I'll invite you guys to participate there at the end. If you don't already follow us on all the social media, make sure you do that as well, because throughout the weeks we post lots of different just cool things, different events, different sayings. We post our Millionaire Mannerisms. So we're at Millionaire Manners on all the different social media, at Millionaire Manners, okay? So I encourage you guys to follow along, or even shoot me a text message or give me a call throughout the course of the week. Let me know what you're thinking. My cell phone number is 443-271-3604. And again, feel free to reach out to me or send me a comment, etc., if you guys just want to chat, etc., okay? So the other thing that we do every single week is there's a quote of the call. So we're going to get into tonight's quote of the call here in a second, and then we're going to get into tonight's topic, which is, again, developing the possibilities in your life, right? The who, what, where, when, and why. So I think this is a pretty cool one, all right? So tonight's quote of the call, right, get ready. And, again, I encourage you guys, that's the last thing. I actually left that out in terms of ground rules. The last 2 ground rules, take notes. Take notes if you can. I encourage everyone who's listening to make sure that you start a success journal, which is a place where you can document and sort of take notes and challenge yourself with different things that you experience, and to take notes, some of which you're going to go and share, which is the second to last ground rule, is to when you hear something good on this call, make sure you try and share it with as many people as you can, as quickly as you can. And I usually mean within 24 hours, okay? So something else to keep in mind, right? So tonight's quote of the call. Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities. Okay? Dreaming, after all, right, this quote kind of got twisted up here. All right, we're having a technical difficulty right here. Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me find this. I just had a technical difficulty here. We're going to come back. Hold on 1 second. We're talking about possibilities, though. This is a good quote, too, and I just lost it. All right, hang on 1 second, guys, so I can find this. Okay, here we go. And this is the other one. So we're going to skip that other one for a second. Okay, now here we go. I found it. All right, and there's another one too. So without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. I'm going to read that one more time. This is a really cool quote. Listen carefully, guys. Without leaps of imagination, right? Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities, because dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. So what does that mean? That means that through our possibilities and through us imagining new things, we're actually planning out our own future. Guys, imagination is one of the raw materials for creation and for achievement. Anything that has ever been created in this world, we talked about this before, guys, anything that's ever been created in this world started off as somebody's imagination or somebody's creativity or someone's dream. So every time you do that, that's really the first step of planning. So you talk about developing your possibilities. First, just practice imagining new things. Imagining new things, okay? Here's the other quote. It's not only moving that creates new starting points. Sometimes all it takes is a subtle shift in perspective, an opening of the mind, an intentional pause and reset, or a new route to start to see new options and new possibilities. I just think that's very, very powerful. I'm going to read that one more time. It's not only moving that creates new starting points. Sometimes all it takes is a subtle shift in our perspective, an opening of the mind, an intentional pause and reset, or a new route to start to see new options and new possibilities. So I want you guys to think about that, right? Sometimes it's not about starting over or starting from scratch. Sometimes it's just shifting the way you see a certain thing, which is really a great segue into the meat of tonight's call, okay? So what I mentioned just a second ago, when I talk about possibilities, I'm also talking about opportunities, right? Because you see, in every opportunity, there's a possibility, but not necessarily the other way around. In every possibility, there's not necessarily an opportunity to do that thing. But every opportunity that presents itself is a possibility for a new reality, okay? But in order to see these possibilities that we're talking about, what does it take? Well, I just mentioned it. It's a little thing called imagination, which can become a big thing if you believe. See, whatever you can imagine, there's a way to bring it to reality. But some folks, they have little tiny beliefs. They have little tiny imaginations. So what types of things do they imagine? Little tiny things, little tiny creations that really aren't that exciting. They really don't change things. So as a result, not much change happens, right? So we have to challenge ourselves to expand our imaginations so that way we can visualize new realities and new programs and new opportunities. But that only comes through expanding our beliefs and our imaginations, okay? And again, imagination, right, and creativity, that's the world changers. The person who's going to change the world, that's their raw material. That's what they start with every single time is, let me imagine, let me picture how this thing is going to be in the future. That's what imagination is. It's just picturing new things. Again, new possibilities. Back to that again, right? So possibility also directly relates to visualization, aka, can you see something else happening from where you are? Can you imagine a new product or a new service or a movie or anything, a new pair of shoes? Can you imagine these things? Because if you can, that means you're one step closer to actually creating and bringing that thing to life. So I want you guys to be thinking about visualization, closing your eyes and picturing that thing as reality. It's a very, very powerful exercise, okay? So this list that we've compiled, right, these next couple of items that I'm going to give you guys in regards to developing possibilities also has a couple larger buckets to keep in mind. And I'm going to mention each one as I list off these sort of points for tonight, right? And I think this will be a multi-part call just because, right, all of our lives sort of have multiple opportunities and possibilities, and these are presented to us daily. But will we see them, and will we act on them when we see them? That's the question, okay? So a couple of things to think about as we develop possibilities in our lives. Number one, I want you guys to look for opportunities in a tough situation. Look for the opportunities in a tough situation. We call this a learning possibility, right? I want you guys to concentrate on avoiding the victim mentality and look for new possibilities and new beginnings in each one of these situations. So we just mentioned that, right? So again, starting points, right? Moving is not just the only way to create starting points. Sometimes it's moving around your mindset, your frame of reference. So it's not always about physically moving. Sometimes it's about shifting around your mindset and picturing something different. It's a much, much different scenario, okay? Number two, focus on what you do want to happen, not on what you don't want to happen. So as we talk about developing possibilities, this is what we call future possibilities. Future possibilities. So many times, right, when we find ourselves in less than perfect situations, we'll call them less than ideal scenarios, right? We're so concentrating on what's happening to us that we end up sort of almost creating more of what we don't want to see. It's like, man, this is so bad, but this is all I can see in front of me. So I end up focusing all of my energy on what's happening to me instead of focusing my energy on what's the next thing. So, Jalen and I, before the call started, Jalen and I were talking about, summer school and getting through a particular part of summer school. But if I'm picturing myself right now how I want to be after I'm done with summer school, right, or picturing myself being much better at this thing I'm trying to learn and master right now, then that's where my energy will go. See, there's an old saying that goes like this: where my energy flows, my focus goes. Or you can actually say it in reverse: where my focus goes, my energy flows. So if I'm focused on one thing, that's where my energy is going to go. And in turn, that's what ends up getting created. But if I'm focused on only the good things that will happen, that all my energy, all my mental capacity, all the goodness that I have in my heart to give is gonna move towards becoming better and creating a new reality. So where my focus goes, right, my energy flows. I want you guys to keep that in mind. Number 3, here's one that's more simple, right, and it has to do with I'll tell you the bucket, right? So these next two are actually in the same bucket, which is pretty cool. This is a relationship possibility. So number 3 is give more compliments, and this is something that you might not associate with new possibilities or opportunities, but I'm gonna tell you how it works. There is pretty much, I would say, only one other thing that people like to hear more than a compliment, and that's their name, when it's associated or related to something good. So an example is, hey, Sadiq, you just won $1 million. Or, hey, Sadiq, we'd like to have you do something really, really special. I'm excited because I just heard my name being mentioned, and This is a cool opportunity. So I'm all ears. I'm listening up. So the only way for you to top that is to say a person's name and then to give them a compliment. So you can even say something like, hey, Mom, blah, blah, blah. You look so nice today when you went to work. Or give a compliment to your friend. Like, hey, George. Hey, George, man, I've really, really appreciated you doing X, Y, and Z for me. That's how you build a relationship. You see, when you give somebody a compliment, now they're subtly, right, listening for the next time you speak, because they're thinking that it could be about them again. So they're going to be listening even closer to what it is that you're saying. I know it's kind of crazy the way that works, but that's the way it goes. People are always, you're training people every single time you talk. Every single time you mention something to someone, you're training them for the next time you interact with that person. So it becomes a relationship possibility, because now that's strengthening the relationship that you could potentially have with this person, and now it's wide open for you guys to potentially work and build and grow together, okay? Number four. This is one that I found through my preparation for the call, and I just thought it was such a cool tip. Ask to be introduced to a new friend that one of your friends already knows. You could also call this like a friend swap, right? So picture all the friends that you have. Then you might have a best friend, but guess what? They have an entirely different circle of friends that you don't know. Maybe you guys go to a different school. Maybe it's your cousin that you're really good friends with, right? But this is also one of the tips that takes courage. Right, so anytime you're doing something that's outside of your comfort zone, it's a little scary. There's a little fear that's associated with it because, again, you don't really know how it's going to turn out. You don't know if this person is going to be mean. You don't know if this person is going to be nice or sort of welcoming to you. So it takes courage for you to go and do that. So what I want you guys to do, though, is, again, picture the possibilities instead. Focus your energy on the good thing that can happen, not on the negative thing that could happen as a result of this situation going wrong. So mention the friend swap to one of your friends. Say, hey, can you introduce me to one new friend? One new friend. Because we always talk about the concept of, again, no new friends, right? But you have to get to know new friends. I encourage every single person, right, to meet new people as much as you can. That's a relationship possibility. That's a possibility for you to go out and meet new people, and to encourage your best sort of characteristics to be put on display. So that way you're always thinking about making a good impression and to how to be the best friend that you can be. So many times people don't think about being a great friend, but guess what? Everybody wants great friends around them. See how that works? But life doesn't work that way. You get what you give. So if you offer to be introduced to a new friend, everybody else that you know will be willing to introduce you to different people, et cetera. So that way you can get to know somebody, and now your network of friends is expanding, right? I encourage you guys to do the same thing when the school year starts. Because you guys, there are going to be some new students, right? Every school year, new people coming to the school, et cetera, right? But go out of your way to meet somebody new. Because even in school, especially if you're not switching schools, you didn't graduate from one grade to the next, if you're in your same school, 90% of the same people are going to be back at that school, which means, A, you could look at that as, all right, I got 90% of the same friends, or I have the potential to go out and meet 10% new people, which you never know how that relationship is going to grow and develop, and you can have a new best friend by the end of the school year, which is a pretty cool idea, okay? Number 5, guys, and we're talking again, developing possibilities. Developing possibilities in our life in terms of who, what, where, when, why. Developing possibilities out of opportunities, and sometimes developing opportunities out of possibilities using our imagination. So number 5, guys, number 5 is to look up, Google how to do something that interests you, okay? This is another learning possibility. This is another growth possibility, I call it. So this is both growth and learning because a couple weeks back we mentioned sort of as an idea or as a thought or as a strategy to challenge yourself. for you to go out and learn something new that's been bothering you. But this is a more laid-back approach. I want you guys to look up something that you're interested in, not something that's either scaring you or something like that, but just something that anything that you might be interested in. Look up how it works or how to do that thing. So you might have been curious, right? How do I write a poem? Right? Which is very similar to writing a rap for any of my songwriters, right? Same thing if you're writing a song or a rap. It's just like writing a short poem, okay, or a longer poem, rather. But if you want to know how to do that, look it up online. So there's 3 different websites that I'll encourage you guys to visit if you want to learn how to do something new. The first one is called eHow. So like how, H-O-W, but eHow.com. eHow.com. You can get on that website and just learn how to do just dozens of things. If you want to build something or you want to know how to create something or draw something, you can get on eHow.com. Another one is WikiHow. Just like Wikipedia, there's another website called WikiHow, which has just tons of different directions and instructions about how to do different things, like how to create just cool things. Just anything you want to know how it works, you can go right to this website and figure it out. I mean, it's really, really cool. Really, really cool. I've used WikiHow and eHow a bunch of times in the past, and I've learned new things, okay? The last website is Instructables, Instructables.com, which is another cool site. It just has so many different instructions about just how different things work and, whatever you're interested in. Get on there, which is a cool summer activity as well. But I actually just pulled up the website. I hadn't been in a little while, right? But there's different categories. So technologies, workshops, living, food, playing, outside. Anything that you want to learn how to do, you can type in the search engine in the search bar and figure it out. So I just typed in swimming, right? So swimming. There's how to swim freestyle. There's how to make a toddler swimsuit, how to make some swim pants, right? How to make swim sandals, or how to make those those little swim noodles, right? The long little tubes that you'll use in a swimming pool. You can actually make a raft with those. And there's an Instructable on how to do that. There's so many other different things on here, guys, but the world is full of these possibilities. So I really, really encourage you guys to get on the internet and really, really explore some cool things, because there's so much information that we have at our fingertips, right? So these are just a couple tips, guys, around developing new possibilities, new opportunities for you to improve yourself, because that's what it's about. How do we get better, a little bit better today than we were yesterday? So quick recap, 5 developing possibilities, and I think we're going to do 5 more of these next week. I really enjoy these, okay, and I hope you guys did too. But number 1, look for the opportunities in a tough situation. That's a learning possibility. Number 2, focus on what you do want to happen, not what you don't want to happen, right? And visualize the future. That's a future possibility. Number 3, give more compliments, which will open you up to new relationship possibilities with your friends, with your family, maybe with your teachers, my older callers. Maybe that's a coworker, right, or a family member that you've lost contact with. Number 4, ask to be introduced to a new friend, a.k.a. friend swap. And this is another relationship possibility. And then number 5, Google how to do something that interests you. Building something, writing something, making something, right? So eHow.com, WikiHow.com, or Instructables.com, which is, again, just short little tutorials on how to build different things, right? Very, very cool stuff. So that's all I got for you guys for tonight. So star 6 to unmute yourself and let me know what you're thinking. Star 6.
Hey, Sadiq, this is Sam. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Sammy?
Hey, man, I wanted to add on to I think your 4th tip of asking your friend to introduce you. I would say to take the initiative and actually do the introducing. So one of the goals that I'm trying to do as a networker and as a person that's a connector is to really try to introduce people so I can start to help them. The more you talk to people, and this is a great networking tip, when you talk to people, you need to understand what's motivating them. So if you talk to someone and they say, hey, I really like this stuff, and then you can come back to them and say, hey, I know somebody who does that. Let me introduce you to them. Then you're building that social capital where you can help them in the long run. And then in turn, they're going to want to help you whenever you ask them for a favor. But remember, a networking relationship is always, it's not always take. You also have to give to the person that you're trying to build a relationship with as well. So that's one tip that I would say. In addition to asking your friends to introduce you, also do the introducing so you can give value to that person as well.
Great tip, Sammy. Great tip. So anytime, right, there's somebody else that you think might be a good fit or that they can help each other, like Sammy said, just do the introduction yourself. So if you have a friend who's looking for somebody to help them with X, Y, and Z, and you know this other person who's an expert at that, help them out. Help them out. Make the introduction. Say, hey, I'd really like for you to meet this person. I'd really like for you to meet this person. And here's what they're about. Here's what I think you can sort of offer to that person, and go from there. I think that's a great tip, Sammy.
Hello?
Hey.
Okay, this is Uswa, and that's really like your second or third tip when you said try your best to be creative and don't always look on the bad side, making a bad situation even worse. Like how you said, like, I'm making an example, like, let's say if you have, like, your car broke down, at least you're not like stranded in the middle of the abyss and not having any food or water for days like some other people are, but you can still take a bus to work until, your car gets fixed in the repair shop. So it's always good to look on the good side of things instead of always looking at the bad, because you could be even in a worse situation, putting yourself in an even bigger hole.
This is true. I think I shared with you guys, right? I was in a car accident about 2 weeks ago, and the exact same thing happened to me, Uso. I was like, at first I was like, man, I was so upset about getting into this car accident, et cetera. But then I was like, man, number one, I had a car. Number two, I had insurance, so I get to get a new car. And then the last thing, I didn't get hurt. So it can always be worse. It can always be worse. So I just encourage the exact same thing that you said, Uswa, is to look on the bright side, because, man, so many people have it much worse. Anybody else want to share anything, guys? *6. All right, guys, if nobody else has anything to share, great talking to you guys as always. And I will talk to everybody next week, guys. Have a great week.
All right, see you.